we don't think that families should go through terminal illness alone. So we have Hope Hub, which is a monthly gathering for families facing terminal illness where they can meet up with other families and volunteers who are going through similar things. It's just a time for you and your family to connect with other people, and everyone there is at a different stage, and they all support each other from their experiences and can just be there for you because they all have a different experience and a different story to share.
Welcome to the Inheritance of Hope podcast. Every day, 562 children lose a parent to terminal illness. They shouldn't have to face that alone. You can pretend to avoid the painful realities of illness, grief, and death, or you can deal with the real stuff in caring community. On the podcast, people in Inheritance of Hope's community share raw, personal stories of pain, trials, and the shadow of death, which are also stories of joy in terminal illness. Find more Inheritance of Hope community at inheritanceofhope.org. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Inheritance of Hope podcast. I'm Ellie, your host. We're highlighting each of the services that we offer through Inheritance of Hope. So if you've heard a lot of the great testimonials, but you just don't really know what a service is or what it offers, look no further. Today we will be going through all the details for Hope Hubs. So we have a special guest here to walk us through what this all entails. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Addie. I have been volunteering with Inheritance of Hope for almost 4 years now. First got involved with the Hope Hub part of Inheritance of Hope for a year and a half. I started serving on the Legacy retreats, and now I'm interning with Hope Hub.
So for someone who is curious about Hope Hub, walk us through what the program is and why it exists.
Yeah, so at Inheritance of Hope, we don't think that families should go through terminal illness alone. So we have Hope Hub, which is a monthly gathering for families facing terminal illness where they can meet up with other families and volunteers who are going through similar things and just get connected and just build that community with each other. So a typical Hope Hub might look like walking into the door, meeting up with all the families, just typically a message with the whole group, and then we break off into different age groups or parent caregiver groups, and in each of those groups we do a little lesson and just give everyone their resources and tools they need to face what they're going through. And through it all, the goal is to meet other people that have an understanding of what facing terminal illness is like.
If you are interested in this, check the website. If you're planning on attending, you will get all of this information ahead of time. So you'll know, like, oh, should I eat ahead of time? Or is there going to be dinner served? So where is Hope Hub?
So Hope Hub right now is in a few locations. There's 2 in Florida, Twin Cities, Minnesota, Austin, and Washington, D.C. And then obviously working to expand and create more Hope Hubs. But on the website, you can see all of the future Hope Hubs that we're hoping to launch soon and hopefully find one in your area.
Our hope is to grow and offer it in so many cities across the U.S. So no matter when you're listening to this, go to the Inheritance of Hope website, and on there you'll see the Hope Hub page, and you can get the most accurate, up-to-date list of those cities. And that's the whole premise of this. It's monthly in-person gatherings in your city. And so when we say monthly, what does that mean? Do they all meet on the same day every month, or what's the structure of that?
Yeah, so a lot of the Hope Hubs running right now do typically meet up on the same weekend in a month. Some of them vary when specifically they'll meet. But yeah, every month there's a different theme. So it might be you're meeting in the same building or church that Hope Hub has been meeting in, but it might be something like a summer party where you're at someone's pool and you're hanging out. So they definitely vary where and when, but that's all information given out to families that register.
And I know I've seen some Hope Hub cities go to like a baseball game or doing some different gatherings. But also, I've heard just so many stories of people getting to know people in their own city with the same story and then wanting to hang out outside of Hope Hubs because you're local. And that's the beautiful thing is you get to know people like in your backyard. So do you know of any stories of that happening where people meet up outside of Hope Hub?
Yeah, so when I was first volunteering with Hope Hub, there were these two little girls who didn't know each other going into it, and then just every month you saw them kind of get closer and closer together, and eventually heard that they were on the phone with each other sometimes. They're just seeing their relationship grow, these two people that didn't know each other to start and then now have this special bond with Hope Hub. Yeah, it's definitely something that is super special that Hope Hub offers.
I remember hearing because of a connection in Hope Hub, someone had like an extra wheelchair or something and was able to go and drop it off because, okay, you're in the same city, it's right here. So even just sharing those resources and meeting up for extra social events and things like that is just really sweet. And it requires very little work from you. You don't have to go on Facebook or Google, like, where are people in my area with this? Let us do the connecting and all of the facilitating. You can just show up and have a good evening.
Definitely.
Yeah. And what's the time commitment? How long does a Hope Hub usually last on a weekend?
Typically an hour and a half to 2 hours. They normally meet around 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, so how do people get involved? How do they sign up and start attending a Hope Hub in their city?
Go to the Inheritance of Hope webpage and then find the local gatherings under resources. And there's a button if you scroll down to the bottom where you can register in a Hope Hub near your area. And then there's even an option to register for future Hope Hubs that we're planning on launching. So just going onto the website, it'll ask you a couple questions about your family or situation, and then they'll get you set up and ready to attend your first Hope Hub.
And it's something for the whole family too. So as you register, it's for your whole family. And Addie, you mentioned this, but it is broken up. Parts of the evening are all together as a family, and then other parts are kind of separated for kind of age appropriate processing and fun. And what does that kind of look like? Let's say if you were joining and you had a couple kids, what could you expect them to do during this Hope Hub evening?
So with the breakout groups for the kids, typically we'll start with some sort of game, and that game has a story connected to the message for the night. Then we'll talk through some sort of message. We'll ask questions of the kids, and then there's typically an activity followed. Maybe it's coloring, maybe it's making a bracelet, maybe, all sorts of different fun activities for the kids to do. And then also sometimes there's a story that we read, and then just it's time to just chat with people, kids your age, and yeah, just get to know and build that connection again with more people that maybe you wouldn't have met otherwise.
I love that, you can show up as a family. It's not just like, okay, kids over here and the adults and you don't interact. Like, no, there's family time. There's a meal you can eat together as you talk with other families. And then I attended a Hope Hub. Actually, I met Addie there in the Twin Cities area. So when we were there, the theme of that night for that month was legacy. So we had the meal and then there was a group activity. So you do this activity as a family and then you break off. So everyone's kind of more comfortable. So if you have kids at home who are maybe a little anxious to try new things, you will be together. And then by the time that things break up, there's a lot of like comfort and excitement happening already. And then when I was there, the kids had their game in their corner and then I was in the circle with the adults. And I just know how much people appreciated that time. Your kids are safe, they're having fun, they're connecting with other people, and you get time to talk with other adult humans who understand what's happening in your world. And there were some questions about legacy or, tied into the theme you're talking about, but also just kind of time to share what's happening in your life. I just really appreciated that structure because it felt like every single member of the family was cared for and had things specifically ready for them to engage in a way that would be meaningful for them. Okay, another question that people might be wondering if they're listening to this is if you sign up for a Hope Hub, what is the commitment once you fill out that registration form?
When it works for your family to be at Hope Hub, we would love to see you there. It's not a set in stone, you have to come every time. We understand that your schedules are busy and we just want to see you when we can. So definitely just when it works for you, not at all a attendance thing. It's a very casual meet with people, get to know someone. There's no pressure on it at all to go a certain way. It's just a time for you and your family to connect with other people. And so if that's something you're looking for, Hope Hub is definitely a resource to utilize. Just come, we'll welcome you in. Yeah, if nothing more, just to see some friendly faces, it's an amazing time that I would definitely encourage.
And one thing too, as you were saying that, this is for families with that anticipatory grief where, okay, there's a parent diagnosed with a terminal illness and you have kids under the age of 18 and you're just that young family structure, but also for life after loss too, right? So that is the beautiful thing about Hope Hubs. It's not, okay, we're going to walk you right up until the end. And then afterwards, good luck finding a different community. It's like, nope. Yep, your seat is still saved. Like, come. And that's maybe the time when you need people the most. And what does it look like to walk alongside people while you're grieving? Whether it's anticipatory grief or it's like the sorrow of just losing your person, this is a space that can hold all of that. So I wanted to make sure we said that too, because that's a really important piece of Hope Hub.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about it is that everyone there is at a different stage, and they all support each other from their experiences and can just be there for you because they all have a different experience and a different story to share.
Yeah, you could just have gotten your diagnosis a week ago, or you've been having this diagnosis for 10 years. Maybe you just lost your person. Maybe you're a couple years into it. Like, yep, come on in. There's room for you.
Yes.
Okay, last question. If someone is listening and they're like, man, maybe I don't fit that criteria where I'm not a person to attend, but like I really believe in what you're doing here. How can they help?
The biggest thing is if you feel called to serve, we always need more volunteers. Hope Hub runs with volunteers. So, speaking from experience, it has been such a positive thing for me to meet with all these families and these amazing volunteers. If you're able to serve and that's something that you feel called to do, I would definitely encourage signing up and showing up to a Hope Hub, and we'll walk you through what you're doing, and you'll just get to connect with families and be one of the friendly faces welcoming them in. Also, I would say just continue prayer for Hope Hub as an organization. Maybe you're not in a place to serve right now, but just continuing to pray that Hope Hub continues to grow and expand, and for the families that are being served and the families that will be served, just that they can feel God's presence and God's greatness in the midst of terminal illness. Volunteering if you can, but definitely praying for Hope Hub and Inheritance of Hope as a whole.
Yeah. If you have the time and energy to give it that way. Prayer, obviously, and even financially, like it costs money to maybe rent out these spaces or provide these meals and buy these activity things. So that's another option. And honestly, all of this stuff, whether you are interested to attend, serve, give, anything, just go on Inheritance of Hope's website. All of that information is there. The most up-to-date cities and locations where we're having Hope Hubs on a monthly basis. I hope this was informational and also really compelling. Addie, thank you so much for sharing. I think this is going to just be a great launching pad for people to know about Hope Hubs and just get involved in whatever way that they can.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.